Alright, hello everyone and welcome to this stream of PlayStation Media series. Unfortunately I was caught up tonight, so I'm a bit late, but you join me here on lap 6 of 33 of this race, and looking at the position changes, so it looks like Eero Ken took pole position but got overtaken by his teammate off start, who is on the softer tyre compound, by the way. G-Force Pato in P3. Verified Automatic climbing up a few positions from where they started, same as Let's Beast and Rogue Flash. Very up 4 position. Jamie James, unfortunately for him, had a very bad start, as that is XX Crown Guy, who was Pato, but it's not Pato, so I believe this is Pato's friend. But anyways, looking at the rest of the change up and down the grid, we have a few names down at the bottom which you normally wouldn't see. Pasha just started in P5, unfortunately now running in P20 and last, and his car is ghosted. To make it even worse, his aero has spun here, coming off the heavily modified turn 7-8, I want to say. But anyways, cutting back onto the leaders, Prime Vizu has the advantage at the moment, but he is on the harder compound of tyre, so he will have to suffer later on in the race, whilst the others go for the alternate strategy, as Mikel makes a nice move past Tommy PLR for P14 there, and the other Williams might be having a look at Rogue Flash, who's currently right in front of him. But at the moment at the front, is staying in a DRS train, very similar to what we saw, to what we've seen from these guys in earlier rounds. But at the moment, looks like they are all just biding their time, and we're having to look to midfield for a few battles. Lex Beast had a massive moment there as Tommy PLR gets overtaken once again, twice in the same lap, and now Lexus Beast could be under all sorts of pressure from Kissiak. He's fallen out of the DRS range of Rogue Flash, and now Kissiak is going to have the chance down this main straight. He's going to use the ERS and the DRS to good effect, get nice slipstream, go to the left and then move to the right. There's a bit of a tap there from Lexus Beast, who has to fight to keep his car in control, but fortunately doesn't bin it as Passion Chess's AI car sets the fast lap of the race. Once again, AI cars need to be turned down, but at the moment Lexus Beast tried to have a look back on the Mercedes, but nothing doing there, so he's going to have to stick behind and wait until later on in the race. But meanwhile, out front it's Prime Vizu from Eero Ken from G-Force Pato. Prime Vizu didn't race last week, of course, and Eero Ken finished in second, ahead of SPR Drax, who took the final podium position, and behind Jamie James, who actually won. But Jamie James not quite having the same success here out in Spain. He started in P4, but fortunately that is a Lexus Beast round in the final sector. But anyways, whilst I was saying that, Verify been overtaken by Animatics Climb, there's another incident here between Passion Rocking and Alexis Beast in the final sector, and now both drivers are into the pit lane, and Alexis Beast got saved there with the auto reset track. Well, that could have been him out of the session, but he He's a lucky boy to survive, but unfortunately he's retired in the pit lane. So not the day the Williams reserve driver would have wanted, as he has to retire in frustration. But Verify now could be looking for the move back here on Adam Matskai. He's actually been on good form as of late, and it's kind of surprising Jamie James isn't quicker after his absolute domination at Miami last week. You would have expected him to carry on with the same sort of form, but at the moment that is not happening, as he currently sits in P9 and almost 2.8, almost 3 seconds off the next car. Verify in towards turn 1, nothing doing for the Aston Martin. SVR Drax cannot do anything to the two medium tyre runners in front of him, and he has to also stick behind for now. Meanwhile, further down the pack, not really too much action going on at the moment, but I'm sure there will be later on in the race, as Prime Vizu leads this race from his teammate Iroken by about 4 tenths. Alfa Romeo is holding station as Verify's run very wide there, coming out of turn 9, I believe, as there's yellow flags in set 3. That's because Iroken has spun. The Finnish driver has made a big mistake in this Spanish Grand Prix, and this has flipped this race on its head, because now G-Force Pato can go on the attack. The problem for him is he's not in the DRS, but he can go on the attack. And there's another spin. Adam Matskai at the final corner has spun around. Now he's down to P6, replacing Iroken, who previously held that position, and he could be under pressure from road crash in towards turn 1, but I don't think AlphaTauri has enough to get close to the Alpine. But this has switched this race on his head, as SVR Drax takes a very interesting line through turn 3, as Prime Vizu now leads. Well, he stayed in the lead, but now he doesn't have the buffer of his teammate to protect him from G-Force Pato, and now G-Force Pato can go on the attack on those tyres that are only going to get better in comparison to Prime Vizu's. Meanwhile, Verify, he's managed to drop SVR Drax out of his DRS range, probably due to that mistake by the Haas driver at turn 3, and now he's got some clean air in P3 due to Adam Matsky's spin. So let's see how Iroken and Adam Matskai, let's see if they can get back into the top 5, which they were in previously. And Jamie James 16 is making moves. He's already caught back up to Kisiak here, and could be looking for that move up into P8 up into P8 on the Mercedes. We'll have to wait and see as they now swing it through the final, well, the chicane before the final corner, as is Aston Martin off at turn 10 as well. That is Mikel. He's lost a position to Passion for Reto, but that's not what we're looking at the moment, because we're looking at last week's race winner, Jamie James, taken to the inside and taking P8 from Kisiak. Simple move for the McLaren. It's like taking candy from David. He'll be looking to also get back into this top 5, which has been influenced by the spins. And look how much closer G-Force Pato is already. He can smell that Alfa Romeo. He knows that it's weak without the buffer of the teammate. But the problem is Iroken has a lot more ERS than G-Force Pato at the moment, so can defend, but he runs a bit wide through turn 10. Well, wide, well, you could take pretty much any line you want. Is all G-Force Pato having a moment on the curb there, and that nearly cost him the DRS of Prime Vision, and that could have been also a very nasty moment. It's a wall, and Tommy PLR, speaking of moments, it's a wall. He's crashed on the exit of turn 5. Let's see if we can see what he's done. Yeah, he's just lost it on the exit, and unfortunately for him, that is another race gone down the drain, one he'll want to forget about, like quite a few of his this season. But at the front, GeForce Pato unable to make a move, and ASPR Drax has made that mistake again at turn 3, ran super wide, and this time it's cost him position to the Phillies driver Eero Ken, who's now back in P3 and still very much in the hunt for the race win here. But we have Mercedes off, and that's Kisiak, who was running in P8 before the spin. He's spun and now sits in P9, and meanwhile, whilst all that was happening, Road Crash has decided to trigger the undercut. First man from the top 10 to come in for a new set of tyres, and he's now onto the hard cop tyres. But whilst he's heating those up, as that is Mikel round at turn 4, he's battered. Pasquaretto unfortunately spun. That whilst Road Crash is getting his tyres up to heat, Pasquaretto could be looking for the move on the AlphaTauri driver, who will be susceptible. You can see he's struggling with the tyre temps there through turn 8. Meanwhile, at the front, we're going to have another attack, because here comes GeForce Pato for the race lead at Spain. Can he make the move? Down the inside, simple move, but he runs a bit deep, but defends the line nicely through turn 2. But this could give Prime Vizu the run through turn 3 and turn 4. But nothing doing for the Alfa Romeo, and it's a changing of the guards up front, because GeForce Pato now leads the Spanish Grand Prix, and Kisiak is into the pit lane. So we're starting to see a few medium tyre runners come in. How long will Prime Vizu and Verify, even Adam Mattis, Cly and Jamie James, how long will these guys all go? Of course, we saw GeForce Pato's incredible one stop from mediums to softs last week. I don't think that'll be achievable tonight, but if anyone can do that, I bet it will be the other McLaren of Jamie James. He's slowly but surely closing in on the Alpine in front of him, who's also closing in on SPR Drax, because Drax has made quite a few mistakes. And meanwhile, Eero Ken has had some amazing pace. He's already caught back up to Verify in P3. But here we go, round 2, Prime Vizu versus GeForce Pato. Will the Alfa Romeo try to stick behind us? We have a spin, it's except up Crown Guy, and Verify is into the pit lane, so it's triggering the undercut. Verify is triggering the undercut. Let's see if Prime Vizu will react on this lap. Who will react to the Aston Martin, as the other Aston Martin, who just came out of this pit lane, spun almost immediately. Adam Mattis Cly also into pit lane for Alpine. So now this has forced the hand of Jamie James and Prime Vizu, who can't go too long on these tyres, as they will start to drop off eventually. But if I was Jamie James, I would probably react to this undercut trigger. But if you're Prime Vizu, I say you're chilling. Like, you're in the DRS of the McLaren. You could just stay here for a few laps, get dragged along by the McLaren's good pace, and then maybe come in like 2 or 3 laps. But at the moment, it's not critical that he reacts to it. But of course, we don't know how much pace Verify and Adam Mattis Cly will have on the outlaps. He should be safe from Adam Mattis Cly. It's really only Verify he has to worry about, but he's going to cover off the undercut and come into the pit lane now. His teammate carries on in P3. Will Jamie James, but Jamie James stays out, so Jamie James going even longer than Eero Ken on these even longer than Prime Vizu on these mediums, who's in for the hard cop tyres. Here he goes out of the pit lane. Let's see where he is in relation to Verify. Verify coming through the last turn now, and comfortable gap for Prime Vizu, as he's now heading down to turn 1 as Verify starts his 16th lap of the race. But no contest there for now P5. But Adam Mattis Cly, of course, still in the race, and Mikel is out of the session. He's retired in the pit lane, as we have 2 more pitters, Dr. Me, who's lagged out, and Pasquaretto, who's in for the hard compound tyres. But let's see how long these hard tyre guys go. I mean, after what we saw last week, I wouldn't be surprised if GeForce Pato tried to go onto the softs from these tyres. And I won't be surprised if any of the others try to follow him. but at the moment, no movement from the top cars, as we have yellows through the final sector, and that's because Aero has spun at the penultimate corner. He's off in the gravel, and he's going to get lapped by SBR Drax, I believe there, yeah. So he's now a lap down, which is not ideal in any stretch of the imagination. But Jamie James here, he's slowly but surely closing in on SBR Drax. We have yellows through sector 1. They've now gone past each other into the pit lane again. But at the moment, we're just in a really dull stalemate. Like, no one is within the DRS range of one another. So we're just kind of just watching the cars go through the motion here. But I'm sure once these top guys start to box for the medium compound tyres, we shall see action here in this Grand Prix. But at the moment, it's G-Force Pato who leads us here in España, and he's on course to win his first race of the season, and he's into the pit lane. So early pit stop for G-Force Pato, definitely not trying to go to the softs. It's going to be medium stop here. Hero Ken does not react, he stays out. SBR Drax also stays out. So is G-Force Pato probably maybe reacting to the undercut triggered by Prime Vizu? That could be it, but let's see. This is going to be very tight as they come out the pit lane. Prime Vizu has come round the final corner now. Did G-Force Pato have some good outlaps? There he is now, leaving the pit lane, turn the limiter off, and he's got quite the distance to Prime Vizu, but of course he will be on the colder tyres. She's going to have to wait for those to heat up, and now allow Prime Vizu to close right up and get right on the gearbox of the McLaren. But at the moment, this overcut looks like it's worked wonders for the McLaren driver, who's now almost broken out of the DRS range of Prime Vizu, who was firmly within it before the safety car. But Prime Vizu's actually had a really good sector 1 and sector 2, so he's got back within the DRS and he's closing. You can see it visually to McLaren. Let's see if any of the top guys, Euro Ken or SBR Drax, react on this lap instead, going one lap longer before boxing. Euro Ken ignores the pit lane once again, so he's staying out, he's trying to go long. SBR Drax, same with him. And Jamie James, I think he's going to try the very ambitious medium to soft once again. We're going to see a McLaren driver try to pull it off. Unfortunately for him, the leaders are already like only 7 seconds away, so he'll be quite far behind, but this could help him secure a podium at best. But I think the race win is out of the question for the McLaren driver, who currently sits in P3. Prime Vizu not able to do anything about G-Force Pato, and the table has swung now because G-Force Pato is on the quicker tyre and is also has more ERS. So Prime Vizu not really using those medium tyres to the full extent they could have been used to, as he's clearly lost some time somewhere. But at the moment, Ken leads this Spanish Grand Prix. Not the first time we've seen this Finnish driver who's been dominant in the championship so far. Not the first time we've seen him lead a race, but of course he still has to make another pit stop, and Passion Rocking is out of the session, and SBR Drax with a late pick. Oh my god, drama here. SBR Drax managed to slip into the pit lane just as that safety car was called out, but he did he didn't go around the bollard, he kind of like cut through after the bollard, so that could be a penalty for SBR Drax. But at the moment, this looks like a wonder call because it's helped him jump Verify and Adam Matic-Cry. Verify will try to get the position, but he's stuck behind a Ferrari in towards turn 1. So SBR Drax now has track position in the fight for P3, but Jamie James has exceeded track limits under safety car and has picked himself up a 3-second time penalty, and that is going to be catastrophic towards the end of this race, because pretty much no one in the field except Crown Guy has a penalty, so that's not ideal. Lucky for Eero Ken, he wasn't held up by the safety car and didn't join the safety car immediately, so he can still make the pit stop and benefit. But I don't think he'll be able to get in front of his teammate or G-Force Pato. Jamie James also into pit lane, so let's see what these guys do. I presume Eero Ken will go on the mediums. I don't expect him to risk it on softs. Jamie James has a decision of hards, play it safe and go hards, or risk it all and go softs, and I'm kind of leaning towards the risk it all and go softs, and that's exactly what the McLaren does. He's gone on to the softs. Eero Ken, no reason for him to risk it on the soft compound tires. He's strapped on a new set of the mediums and stays in P3. Has Jamie James been able to jump SPR Drax in the pit lane or add or verify? Yes, he has. He's managed to jump both. So, wow. Jamie James has really won from the safety car, and now he's the car in P4 on fresh soft compound tires. So could we see yet another race win from the McLaren? McLaren and Ferrari on top, the two teams we've seen for the majority of this season up at the front, but anything can change. There's always rooms for error. This could all snap back in an instant, as Rogue Flash and Passion Instant have both gone for the soft compound tires as well. So quite a few drivers trust in the softs, thinking they'll get them to the end of the race, which is fair enough, but we'll have to you'll have to see how that progresses as we come towards the end of this very exciting and captivating Spanish Grand Prix. If you haven't already, make sure to drop a subscription to the channel and join the Discord, join the Race Spec Discord if you want to get involved yourself in this amazing racing. We have three continents, so 3 servers that we race in: Pacific, Europe, and America. I don't know if we race in Asia, but we definitely race in Europe, Pacific, and Americas. So if you're from any of these continents, any platform is welcome. Just hit up the Discord and you'll be guided on how to sign up. But if you are joining us for the remainder of the season, then you'll probably want to know the calendar. And at the moment, we have, after this round, we have Singapore next week, which will be a very interesting Grand Prix. Quite a different track to Spain. I mean, they're both very technically difficult, but round 7 is Japan. That comes after the Singapore Grand Prix. Then we have our second sprint race of the season at Great Britain, before heading to USA for round 9 on the week of the 21st and 25th of October. Round 10 will be hosted at Mexico, and round 11 will be at France, with round 12 taking place at Brazil. Sprint race, of course, third one of the season. Abu Dhabi will host round 13, Australia will host round 14, and Saudi Arabia round 15. So Saudi Arabia also a sprint race, I forgot to mention, and that will be final race of the season. So plenty to look forward to for the rest of the season. But at the moment, it's G-Force Pato out in front on 5-lap old mediums, and followed behind by Prime Vizu on 7-lap old hards, who's followed by his teammate Iro Ken on 2-lap old mediums. And surely Alfa Romeo have to switch these drivers as soon as possible, because there's really no time to waste. I don't think Prime Vizu will have the pace to compete with G-Force Pato, so they need to try and maximize the points, and I think the only way they could do that is by putting Iro Ken as the driver in front and letting him attack G-Force Pato, because they also have to worry about the other McLaren behind them, who's also on fresh softs. So this could be very interesting. Team tactics. It's 2 McLarens versus 2 Alfa Romeos. It will all come down to who has the better safety car restart, and really who can make the most of their new tyres, which they strapped on recently. The only guy with tyres older than 8 was Kisiak, but he just spun at turn 8, so he's going to need to box and get a brand new set of tyres. That was very close there between Crown guy and that Haas. But anyways, the safety car is in, so here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna go racing once again here in Spain. Safety car restart is about to be upon us. Can G-Force Pato get a good restart? Will he be jumped by the Alfa Romeos? He's leaving it late, but he's gone at the final corner, and he's actually given Jamie James an amazing restart. And Jamie James there lost a bit of time through the final corner, but Crown Up's guys immediately crashed at the final corner and brings out the yellow flags, but no movement at the top so far on the safety car restart. But Verify is going to have to defend hard from Adamatis Klein in towards turn 1 as Passion Instant makes the move past Passion Fretto, Kisiak's into pit lane, Passion Testing Aero are AI cars, but at the moment it's G-Force Pato from Prime Vizu, from Aero Ken, from from Jamie James, and there we go. There's the switch. Ken making the move on Prime Vizu, and now Jamie James is going to try down the inside of Prime Vizu and makes a nice move, but then gets a bit of oversteer on exit, but he has made a move. So nice and aggressive from the McLaren. Unfortunately for Prime Vizu, who's lost 2 positions in the space of 2 corners, he will not be best pleased by that one, and now he could be under pressure from SVR Drax, who's also looking to move up. He's going to try round the outside. Can he make it work? No, he can't. Prime Vizu defending well, placing that car exactly where it needs to be, but surely he's only going backwards in this race. SVR Drax will be looking, he'll be all over him here down the end of this straight. And also look at the front, because here comes Iro Ken with ERS, with Slipstream, with the fastest lap of the race, and around the outside up into P1 goes Iro Ken, overtakes G-Force Pato before they get to the braking zone, and the Finnish driver leads once again this season. Can he make it another win here in this incredible season by him so far? SPR Drax is still all over the back of Prime Vizu, and I'm sure as soon as DRS is enabled, he will be looking to make the pass as soon as possible. But meanwhile, in the midfield, there's a battle developing for P7 between Adamatis Klein, Passion Instant, and Ferry SF. Passion Instant having the upper hand here in this battle due to his soft compound tyres compared to the rest hard compound tyres in this battle. But Verify managed to break away from Adamatis Klein here quite nicely, but unfortunately he cannot stick with the top 5, so looks like he'll be in no man's land for a bit. But meanwhile, out front, it looks like we could have another switch position. Aero's off at the back at turn 4, and that is Kisiak who's off, and he's retired on the track. So penalty coming his way, I believe, as Iro Ken sets another fast lap of the race. But here comes G-Force Pato Unfortunately for him, can't make anything work. Prime Vizu is also thrown out of the DRS range of these guys in front, so he's going to find it very difficult to defend from SVR Drax. But down the inside goes Passion Instant on the soft compound tires. Ferry SF leaves him the space, and the Alpine makes a move through turn 1, 2 and 3. Brilliant move from him, and now Ferry could be under pressure from Rogue Flash. He's also on fresh soft compound tires, but at the moment Eero Ken holds position in P1, but he has less ERS than both McLarens and no DRS, and his teammate is also out of the fight, so cannot help him in that regard. So this is going to be a very difficult last 7 laps of this Grand Prix for Eero Ken, but if he can hold on, it will be a historic win here in round 5, of course, of this Drivers' Championship. But we have a battle brewing here for P9 between Rogue Flash and Ferry SF. But let's cut back to the front. Is all verified at the moment on the curve. Let's cut back to the front, because now the leaders have DRS. What can GeForce Pato do? Looks like they're just going to save their ERS for now, as we could have a move here for P8. The Alpine, sorry, for P7, the Alpine switch position in towards turn 1, and Ferry SF could be losing the position to Rogue Flash, as well as Rogue Flash goes down the inside of the Haas driver before the braking zone. Simple move for the AlphaTauri driver, who's now up into P9 and can now look at Adam Mattis guy, who's also on old hard compound tires. But meanwhile, out front, of course, don't forget Jamie James still has this 3-second time penalty, and that could be massive come to the end of the race, because he's literally the only driver that's still in this race that has a 3-second time penalty, and that will drop him, at the moment it will drop him down to P5, so he won't even be on the podium. But even if he wants to win this race, he has to overtake these guys and clear 3 seconds, which at the moment neither is looking likely, as he's finding it hard to get past his teammate, who also has the DRS, and also his tires will fall off towards the end of this race, so be unlikely he could put out 3 seconds. But surprised they haven't switched the drivers yet, to be honest, at Dan and McLaren. But GeForce Pato could be looking to move that in towards turn 1, but unfortunately sticks behind for now. Nothing doing from the McLaren in towards turn 1. SVR Drax had a little move at Prime Vizu. He's been all over the back of that Alfa Romeo on the last few laps, so in the last few laps, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a move there for P4, and won't be surprised if we see the Haas driver possibly taking that P4 from the Alfa Romeo on a harder compound of tyre, and of course that will be P3 if they can stay within 3 seconds of Jamie James, which at the moment Prime Vizu is, but SVR Drax isn't, so they might need to pick up the pace here. And one man who definitely needs to pick up the pace if he wants to win this race is Jamie James, and he's really not putting these mediums to great use. As we have a spin, it's SVR Drax. SVR Drax has spun here, and the Haas driver's made another crucial mistake here towards the end of the race, and it's going to cost him the chance at P4 and the chance at a podium, as he now falls down to P9 as he gets overtaken by Rogue Flash to add to his miseries. But at the front, it's all nice and close, but no moves at the moment. But this is giving Prime Vizu a bit of breathing room, but now he has to focus on getting within 3 seconds of Jamie James. She's currently outside, sitting about 3.1 shy of the McLaren, currently in P3. But 4 laps remain here in this Spanish Grand Prix, which has been full of twists and turns. But who will have the final laugh here in Spain? Will it be Eero Ken who will take home another win and keep his podium streak of 4 races on the trot alive? Will it be G-Force Pato? Can he finally break his bad luck of winning races and take a race victory here? Or will Jamie James somehow, by some sort of miracle, overtake and win this race? But Rogue Flash has lost it in P11, but that's not what we care about. What we care about is a battle for the lead, and currently Eero Ken and G-Force Pato go for it, are going at it through turn 1 and 2. G-Force Pato is taking the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix, but now Eero Ken's going to try attack back around the outside of turn 4. Can he make the move on the McLaren? The McLaren leaves him space, and Eero Ken goes clean around the outside, but this battle's not done because G-Force Pato is going to fight around the outside of turn 5, but it's an ever closing gap, and McLaren, who was briefly in P1, now is in P2. He cannot make the move, but the good thing, Jamie James has stayed patient, and now he has the ERS advantage over both of these drivers. They both have 10%. Well, G-Force Pato basically has 10%, which is nothing, and Eero Ken has 20 odd %. So surely this is Jamie James's time to make the moves, to put on the show on the soft compound tires. Can he make his way past his McLaren teammate? But before he tries that, his teammate's going to have another go at Eero Ken here down the straight on lap 31 of 33. What Spanish Grand Prix we've been witnessing. Eero Ken is pushing to the maximum of his limits with a new fastest final sector, as Jamie James is closing. He's so close to G-Force Pato. G-Force Pato with a bit of a mistake through turn 1, running a bit deep. But can Jamie James make any sort of move here on the McLaren, and well, on his teammate here, and move himself up into P2 and give himself a fighting chance of winning this race? At the moment, it looks like G-Force Pato blew his own opportunity to get into this race, as Passion Chess sets a new fastest lap in P14 there. The Red Bull driver, I believe he does get points, as I recently found out Race Spec does not follow the official F1 point system, so instead has their own point system where everyone scores points regardless of where you finish, and it's actually 30 points for winning the race, which is what Eero Ken is currently doing. So 30 points will be going to the Alfa Romeo's way, possibly 31 as he has fast lap as well. Never mind, that's actually been taken by Passion Chester. It would have been 31 though, had the Red Bull not boxed with new tyres. But now onto the penultimate lap of the race. Jamie James's chances of winning this race is pretty much over. I think he just has to try and make sure he doesn't make a silly mistake or doesn't have contact with these guys and hold position in P3s. Although saying that, he has set a fastest sector 3, but surely it's too late now. Unless he can get that penalty removed, it's surely too late now for him to make the move and pull 3 seconds out. So I think he'll just hold station here in P3 and look to pick up the scraps. Ooh! And what was I saying about mistakes? That is a massive mistake, and this could give Prime Vizu the podium. Just when I was saying he had to be composed, he had to not make any silly mistakes. He's made a mistake on the exit of turn 8, and unfortunately kept it out of the barriers, but that's another mistake from McLaren. And now G-Force Pato is down to P2, and this is surely confirmed Eero Ken as race winner, unless the Fin 2 has a mare on this final lap. But both McLarens make a mistake in the span of like, what, 6 corners? Not even that, it's probably like 4 or 5 corners. They've both made massive mistakes, and another massive mistake because Passion Instant is off here at the penultimate corner of the racetrack and rejoins very slowly, losing a lot of time. But now Eero Ken is gonna cruise to victory here on the final lap of this Grand Prix. Passion Instant is still moving so slowly and is coming into the pit lane. Although there's only 1 lap left to go in this race, probably should have just stayed out and try to finish it. But he's decided to come into the pit lane. But it's Jamie James and GeForce Pato, who will be kicking themselves, absolutely livid with how this is unfolded. They had the chance to win this race. Both of them had, well, more so GeForce Pato, and he made a massive mistake. And to make matters even worse, they're not even going to get a double podium. It will be instead the Finnish driver pairing of Eero Ken and Jamie James, who'll pick up the double podium. But Eero Ken comes around the final corner to win here in Spain. He's victorious once again. Jamie James will finish in P2 on the track, but that fall down to P4. GeForce Pato with second, with another podium, second of the season, I believe. Prime Vizu, after taking a break last week, or not attending last week, has taken to the podium this week. Great performance from the Alfa Romeo driver. Verify in P5, nice performance from him. Jamie James finishing P4. He'll be unhappy to not secure the podium, but Verify P5, he'll be happy with that. Adamatis Clive P6, he'll also be happy. SBR Drax will not be too happy with how his race ended, with another mistake costing him crucial points. But Ferry SF finishing in P8, making it a Haas double points finish, which is very good for them. Pasquaretto finishes up in P9. Good to see one of the Red Bulls in the points. We've not seen too much of that this season. And then the Dr. Me takes the final points position, but he was a ghost car, so that's a lie. Everyone gets points, but Dr. Me is the last person to finish in the top 10, but he was obviously a ghost car, so may not keep that position after the final race results have been calculated. But it's the man on form once again. It's Eero Ken taking what race? I think it's third race victory, maybe fourth of the season. I believe it's 3 actually. But amazing performance from Eero Ken once again, taken to the podium. No one can stop this man at the moment. The McLarens have had some sort of response over the last few rounds. Effie Armani winning Italy, Jamie James winning Miami, but Eero Ken is now back on the top step here in Spain and takes his second win of the season. But as you go through the final race results, Eero Ken in P1 for Alfa Romeo. GeForce Pato finished in P2. We have to finish on the podium once again. Prime Vizu in P3. Jamie James will be unhappy to finish just outside the podium after his penalty. Verify in P5. Adamatis Clive P6. P7 for Drax and P8 for his teammate Ferry. Pasquaretto P9 for Red Bull. Dr. Me in P10 for AlphaTauri, followed by his teammate Road Crash, Passion Instant, Tashin Chester P12-13, Aero in P14, and then the DNFs, Kissiet, Crown Up Gry, Passion Rockin, Mikel, Tommy PLR, and Alexis Beast were the last 6 drivers of tonight's race. All of them DNF'd, unfortunately, but we will now head to the post-race interviews. Once I get an invite to the interview party. waiting for an invite from G-Force Pato, and then we should be able to get the post-race interviews underway. But VR Ken, the man who already led by 35 points going into tonight's race, has now extended that gap even further out front to let me actually calculate. He's extended that gap to 46 points out front, in front of G-Force Pato in P2. Oh, G-Force Pato was P3 before this race, but now it's moved up in P2 because Makiek did not participate and therefore did not pick up any points. But Eero Ken's 100% podium finish rate is kept up this season. But yeah, anyways, if you have enjoyed tonight's stream and want to see more, we are here every Tuesday for the next 10 weeks. Same time, 7:30 p.m. BST, and always live, of course. Okay, here we go.
Hi guys, GG's.
Yeah, hello.
Alright, I think we're all here, so I'll start with the post-race interviews now. I'll start off with the race winner, of course, Eero Ken.
Yeah, hello.
Congratulations on the second win of the season. How did it feel taking crossing the line in first place after such a difficult race?
Yeah, it felt pretty good because I had this being in the first stint, which wasn't too ideal, and I thought at that point that if I don't get the safety car, I don't be able to fight for the victory. But then the safety car came, and that was a really good team for me. And yeah, at the first lap, I overtook Ville pretty much after the first sector, and then overtook Pato at the main street, and then I tried to just maybe create a gap, but that didn't succeed, and then just defend against two McLarens, and it was pretty good fight. And I think before the last lap, both McLarens did some mistakes, so yeah, it was a little bit easier last lap, but yeah, they put me under so much pressure, so yeah, GG for both McLarens, and yeah.
Yeah, obviously, keeping that 100% podium streak alive, and I know I asked this last week, but do you think you'll be able to maintain it for the whole of the season?
Oh god. I will say we have to see because yeah, I don't know. I try to keep it 100%. It will be pretty good for the championship also. So getting like the pretty good points for every race, but yeah, I have to see. But if I have to say now, I think there will be some races where I don't get the podium, but we have to see it.
Yeah, of course, mate. And um, last few races, the McLaren have been your biggest challenge. Do you think they'll pose a threat to you in the constructors' championship, or do you think you have it under control?
Uh, of course, because Pato, I already know he was pretty fast driver, and he won last year championship also. And James has also shown really good pace, and he's very fast. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the constructors things will involve. But I think me and Will are pretty good teammates, and I think we can challenge them. But yeah, it's gonna be tight.
All right, thank you, mate, and congratulations on the race win.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, now move on to G-Force Pato.
Hello, mate.
Congratulations on the podium. Must be nice to return to the podium, especially after last week's race.
Yeah, it is. To be honest, like after the shenanigans I had in Miami, it felt good to be back on pace. Because I felt like I was the quickest man on track today. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really gutted because of that safety car, because when something happens that doesn't depend on you and then changes the result of the race, it's really frustrating. But anyway, it was a really good fight, and I take this podium. I'm happy about it, but still not 100% happy because I wanted to win. But yeah, it is how it is. We'll move on to the next race.
Yeah, of course, mate. You definitely had the pace tonight, but unfortunately, as you said, other factors affected your final result. But do you think you would have had the race win if it weren't for the safety car?
Well, with no mistakes, I would say 100%. Because I was on new mediums and Prime was in second place with new hards, so I had more pace. And I think I had more straight line speed, just a little bit more, but I think it would have helped a lot, especially on the exit of the last corner. If you got better tires, then you've got a better exit, so it's harder for the car in front, for the car behind to catch you on the straight. As I also realized with Ken, because we had similar tires, but I had like 10% more in terms of tire wear, and in that corner, especially in the first sector, actually, it felt like he had that kind of 1% extra grip that allowed him to fly away basically in the last corner. But anyway, I think without that safety car, I would have won that race 100%. But yeah, I mean, I just need to focus on the next race and forget about it. It's not the best feeling, but I take this podium. I'm back on the podium, and it's also good to know that I'm matching these guys in front because they're not only quick, but they're also really consistent. So if we want to win the constructors and make a challenge to them, we're gonna need to score points and be consistent, and that's the way we're gonna get it.
Yeah, of course. And after that race, you're now, I believe, if I've calculated it correctly, 46 points behind Euro Ken in P1. Do you think the Drivers' Championship is still alive for you?
Oh yes, of course. You never, I mean, you need to believe every single race. Also because like a race win gives you 30 points, so anything can happen in many tracks. We're just on round 5. There's 10 races to go, so it's gonna be a really long championship. But I really know that Ken and Prime are big opponents, and they're really quick, and I respect them a lot for being quick. It's gonna be fun for sure. I think for each of us, and even for Jamie James, my teammate, who has got the pace. Unfortunately, he had an unlucky race, but I think it's gonna be a really good battle between McLaren and Alfa Romeo. Unfortunately, in the first 2 races, I wasn't able to drive on wheel, which put me a bit on the back foot, but we'll see. Anyway, it's gonna be fun. I think all the other, also Prime and Ken will agree on that. That we'll have fun for sure until the end of the season.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, mate. Congratulations on the podium.
Thank you very much.
Now I'll move on to the third place finisher from tonight's race, which is Prime Blizzard.
Hello. Good evening.
Congratulations on the podium. I just want to say how do you feel the race went for you?
First of all, I totally want to say that I have the same feelings as right now as Pato is having. Very gutted for this third place. Of course, podium is a podium, and in the later this day and in the future, I will appreciate this podium much more. Yeah, the race was. I had very good control of the pace. I was very happy that I was keeping the train, like Ken and Marco behind me for over 10 laps. Then after the spin of Ken, Marco started to challenge much more of me, and the pit stop strategy went very well. It was under control, and I was supposed to finish or somewhere like in P1 or P2. I don't know if P1 was the big goal or the big chances after that pit stop because Marco undercutted me in his strategy. But when the safety car came, it was totally game over because there was basically two guys with the mediums, which both of them, Ken overtook me on the first lap after the safety car restart, and then there is Jamie James with the brand new softs, so it was totally game over for me. But yeah, it is what it is now.
Yeah, and obviously, looking forward to the future rounds, we have Singapore coming up, of course, next week. How do you feel about your chances in that race?
I love the track. Basically, Singapore is the second best street circuit in the calendar. My favorite is Baku. It's a fact. But yeah, the track has a lot of challenges. You have to have 100% challenge mode on that track. Every mistake can be very painful, and I'm pretty sure that there will be lots of surprises and few safety cars, to be honest. If it's raining, then it's a big chaos there. But yeah, I can't wait Singapore, to be honest.
I'm also looking forward to that race as well. But final question: do you think the Drivers' Championship is now out of reach for you, and will you start to focus on the constructors?
Well, I personally I don't like to be the second driver like Valtteri Bottas in the past or Sergio Perez now in Red Bull. I try to be on the drivers' championship and try to fight at least for the bronze. It's the main priority, or at least if there's anything like small chances that I can still fight for the championship, I will go for it. But I still want to focus on it. But at the end of the season, for like 5 races before the finish, if it's totally like that, I am keeping this podium streak, but not a single win on those podiums, then I started to focus on the Constructors' Championship, but not with the second driver mentality.
Yeah, of course. Congratulations on the podium, and I shall see you all next week.
Sorry, EFG, for interrupting you, but I totally forgot to congratulate the podium. Well done for the victory, Kalle. Very well deserved. Very well deserved. Sometimes you have to catch that luck, and totally it was very profit. And also congratulations for the P2 for Marco. Good to have you racing in with that pace since I don't know, but it is good to have you back in the fight. Go on.
Yeah, alright. I'd also like to say huge congratulations to the podium once again, and hopefully you guys can keep up next week at Singapore, which will be a very interesting race. Let's leave it at that. But I've been EVG F1 Lover, and this has been the PlayStation Euro Series Round 5 stream, and I shall catch you all same time next week, 7:30 p.m. BST, and I'll catch you all next week for Round 6 at Singapore. Thank you and goodbye.